And then with Chelsea, so Chelsea just brought in Koulibaly. That's a really good signing. I feel like Koulibaly's been in transfer talks for years now. He's definitely in his 30s, and they signed him. Might have been on a 4-year deal, so that was interesting to me. It makes sense though, why they're after some center backs because like Ake probably not coming, but I also heard about Presnel Kimpembe from PSG. So
Mhm.
I've heard that they've been wanting some center backs, and it makes sense with Thiago Silva likely leaving after this upcoming year, with him getting up there in age, and then bringing in Sterling. That's interesting to me because I feel like I mean with Lukaku leaving, who's going to be next to Sterling up there? I feel like it'll have to be Timo Werner, and Timo Werner definitely has his critics, and maybe Hudson Odoi steps up this year, but just some young guys with potential. Like Chelsea always have young guys with potential. It's just the consistent world class performances. I don't know if you're going to get that much outside of Sterling, and maybe you can say Havertz, but even with them two, I don't know if that's enough. Maybe it's enough to keep them, at third place. I think they've been, top four recently. They're obviously European champions a couple years ago, but I don't know, man. It just Lukaku. I think he would have had a big year this year just because he'll be more used to the system. And I don't know. They like Werner. I know Werner has his daughters a little bit, but Werner, he definitely gets in great positions. It's just really the finishing with him. Um, I can't forget they also lost Rudiger for free to Real Madrid. So that's where Koulibaly comes in. So you have your center back partnership as well. And then I'm just remembering now, I didn't write this down, but Christensen went to Barca. So that's another guy. But yeah, I don't think they have too much to worry about in the back line. I think it's really about creating goals, and maybe others could leave too. We've heard Ziyech. I don't know if Ziyech has secured a deal yet with any other team. I know AC Milan were interested.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not sure either. I think it's getting like reported that he wants to go there. He just like change. I think he doesn't have an agent anymore because he wants to like
yep,
control his own future.
yep.
So still to be determined with him.
And then we've heard things about Pulisic. Um, Pulisic, obviously, he and Ziyech too. They're both on the USA tour, so um, they look like they're in the plans for the Premier League season, but we'll have to see with them. So my thing with them is, do they have what it takes this year to rise above a Liverpool or a City? That's to be determined. I don't think they made enough steps to do that. Just because of the striker. I mean, I thought Lukaku was the perfect signing for them last year, but he's already gone back on loan back to Inter. So it's just like a little bit of a step back, in my opinion, for me, in terms of where they want to go. But the thing about Chelsea, they'll for sure compete in Europe. They'll get far in that competition in the Champions League. So that's not really the thing. I think it's just competing with Liverpool and City. I don't know if they can do that just yet.
Yeah, I think there's some teams that are just good for cup competitions. Like we've seen
Right.
that over the years. Like Liverpool, like before Klopp was like the perfect example where they had like the individual talent to
Mhm.
just go on a run and win the Champions League or at least be competitive. But they didn't have the depth over a 38 game season to win the league. And I think Chelsea's a little like that this year. I actually do like I like Timo Werner probably more than most because I think they play the best when he's in there, even though he misses a ton of chances because his pace, especially when you put him with a guy like Raheem Sterling, it's going to be really difficult to defend. It's just going to be a matter of if they can score enough to, make it count. Like Lukaku is a little of a clunky fit from the standpoint that like he's fast, but I think he looked a lot faster in Serie A than he did in the Premier League just because they have slower center backs over there. They just play differently.
Yeah.
Um, and I thought it would have like they would have like changed a couple things to make it work, but like they didn't want to deviate from the system that had won them the Champions League, and it never felt like it clicked all the way with that. So I mean, I get why he wanted to go back, but from Chelsea's perspective, I think they're probably going to play Werner and Havertz up front, and hope that they can create enough for others, in addition to taking their own chances to make it work. I think what they're going to have an issue with is, with the condensed schedule, if they start getting injuries, especially to the front line, are they going to have enough like replacements to, strike fear into other teams? Because like their midfield's good. I like their defensive replacements. Like Rudiger is a big loss, but the guys that they're bringing in are like proven players. And Koulibaly, like you said, has been in rumors for years. He is a little older, but center backs aging isn't really as big of a concern as some other positions. I still think they're the third best team. I actually don't. I think they could challenge for the Champions League again and some of the cups, because I mean they did get to 2 cup finals last year. But I think their biggest challenge this year is holding off Tottenham for the 4th spot, because that's I think, like, we're going to talk about them in a second, but their squad's looking pretty good this year. And we'll see what happens with Chelsea. I mean, they're going through an ownership transition too. I don't know your thoughts on that, but anytime there's a new owner, things can get a little weird. Just that, impatient new owners that tend to be impatient can, sack a coach after a year, can change a lot of stuff. So I'm curious to see what happens if this year doesn't go smoothly.
Yeah, that is true. Because even last year it was kind of weird with their transition as well. You heard a bunch of things coming out about their what's his name? The guy that used to be there, Abramovich.
Yeah, Abramovich. Yeah,
you heard a bunch of things about him, and Tuchel had to talk a bunch about him in the media because he was getting so many questions about that whole situation. So yeah, ownership. Hopefully they get some stability this year. That'll be much needed because they're not too long ago champions of Europe. So we'll have to see, man. Like it'll be interesting for them.